Well, a very good evening and welcome to Select News with me, Latifa Hamid. It's always a pleasure to sit here and update you on what is happening in the country. But first, let's look at the headlines and we'll be right back.
In our top stories tonight, not more than 10 people. The Electoral Commission issues strict guidelines ahead of presidential nominations. And mark your calendars. UNAIB commences students' registration, warns against exceeding the 5 weeks period. In more news, COVID-19 social-economic impact, ramification contingency plan discussed. What's the way forward? And in the world of sports, homecoming, Golden Athletics team winners.
Well, thank you for staying with us till this moment. Moving forward to our first story of the day, following the recently concluded nominations for members of Parliament, the Electoral Commission has set dates in which these will be elected in the forthcoming general elections. Let's look at that story and we'll be back.
While addressing journalists at Electoral Commission head offices in Kampala, Justice Simon Byabakama, the chairman Electoral Commission, has today set dates on which members of Parliament shall be elected.
So, under Section 18(1) of the Parliamentary Elections Act and Section 107 of the Local Governments Act, requires the Electoral Commission to, as soon as practicable, to appoint polling dates for the various elections of Member of Parliament, that is directly elected MP and District Woman Representative to Parliament, 14th January 2021.
The Chairman Electoral Commission further issued a notice to candidates campaigning not to go against the terms and conditions set by the Commission, including not putting up gatherings that exceed 70 people.
Monday 2nd and Tuesday 3rd November 2020 as the dates for nomination of candidates for presidential elections. The nomination exercise will be conducted at Kiambogo University Sports Grounds, starting at 9 a.m. and ending at 5 p.m. on each of those days.
Justice Simon Byabakama issued guidelines to be followed by every presidential candidate with stringent restrictions against holding processions
of his or her nominations, and each vehicle should not carry more than 4 persons, driver inclusive. Each of the said vehicles shall bear a police sticker. For the avoidance of doubt, the incumbent president, who is also a candidate or aspirant, shall use such facilities as are ordinarily attached to his office. This is in line with Section 27, subsection 2 of the Presidential Elections Act.
He added that each presidential candidate shouldn't go with escorts exceeding 10 members and 4 vehicles.
Venue, in compliance with the government or Ministry of Health guidelines, as well as the EC standard operating procedures for preventing the spread of COVID-19. The aspiring candidate shall be allowed into the nomination venue, accompanied by not more than 10 persons, including the candidate. The particulars of persons accompanying the aspirant shall be submitted to the Commission in advance.
Shamira Nagawa, STV Select News.
Now, meanwhile, shortly after school's resumption from the lockdown, Uganda National Examination Board, UNAIB, has this morning announced an immediate commencement of registration exercise for all candidates. The exercise is stipulated to last for only 5 weeks, effective today, unlike the usual 6 months of registration.
Barely a week after government granted schools green lights to reopen for candidate classes resumption, Uganda National Examination Board today announced commencement of registration for candidate classes to mention P7, Senior 4 and Senior 6 students. With the newer avenues introduced into the student registration system in cooperative use of digital online student registration process, yet to be availed to schools, including helplines to assist digital illiterates.
The registration of candidates will be done electronically through the school portals, as we have already been doing. The e-registration software has been distributed to all the schools. For primary schools, they have been distributed through the district inspectors of schools. For the secondary schools, they have been distributed through the area supervisors.
The exercise is anticipated to take lesser time before completion. According to UNEB, registration will only last for 1 month and 1 week, different from the usual length 6 months. The examination body sounded a loud alarm against late registration past the 5 weeks, issued the ultimatum saying no student will be allowed to register after the stipulated time.
After 5 weeks, we will be expecting to end the registration process. And therefore, we want to urge schools to ensure that all the candidates are registered within this period. I'd like to emphasize that all the planning for the downstream activities depend on.
Schools were resumed business on the 15th of October for candidate classes in order to allow candidates to conclude their academic year.
The registration fees have not been changed. I want to repeat, registration fees have not been increased. They remain as previous, that is PLE 34,000 shillings per candidate, UCE 164,000 shillings per candidate, and USCE 186,000 shillings per candidate.
Earlier fears suggested a dead year due to the COVID-19 pandemic that saw schools shut down for a period of close to 7 months. Maria Dana Namido, Edith Nabagirka, STV Select News.
Today, the United Nations, together with its agencies and other stakeholders, have launched the Uganda COVID-19 report detailing the pandemic implications and, moving forward, issuing suited suggestions. Major hits were felt in the tourism sector, business sectors, cutting across to social and political unforeseen ramifications. The report was launched under the theme, Leaving No One Behind.
COVID-19 has had so many implications on the nation, including social, political, but majorly on the national economy. To many, it's a lesson learned, while to others, chances to get back on their feet seem thinner every day as the ramifications simmer deeper even in the aftermath.
To fight COVID-19, we need to eat. So it is strategic for the nation. So we look at agriculture from the perspective of the sector itself, but also in terms of the food security, not only for Uganda, but also for the region. At this sector, we look at the price, the impact of the price fluctuations, and we have seen that during the pandemic, there was some spikes in terms of the cereals, the salt went up, the sugar went up. We had some shortage in terms of some commodities.
The United Nations, in conjunction with its partner agencies, have convened and deliberated on various issues anticipated would turn out pivotal in improving the country moving forward.
I think it's the right time to flag it. If you really look at the economic commissions in Africa, you have ECOWAS, you have SADC, you have Eastern Africa here, then you have COMESA that kind of goes in between. At the beginning, because this is the worst pandemic in 100 years.
Among points of focus is developing the informal sector, empowering the youths and women whom they believed were more affected in this pandemic, promoting agriculture with their support to ensure there is economic growth, etc.
Here in Uganda, looking at different dimensions to it, areas to do with the Sustainable Development Goals and potential regression in that, the impact on poverty, the impact on the informal sector particularly, and also the impact on sectors such as the service sector, manufacturing, tourism, agriculture in a way. But what is important here, which is a recommendation from our own Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, that countries, in our support to many countries in the region, should conduct this assessment. And so what is coming out of this assessment is really how we can build forward better.
According to Rosa Malango, the UN National Coordinator, the key role of UN is to assist governments carry out in-depth analysis and ensure there is recovery from this crisis globally.
I think that containment phase probably ended around June, maybe June, July. So now that we realize that we know how to identify, protect, and contain, we can now look at what does the economy need to look like going forward. And I think that's why this is the right time to remind the governments in the region that East Africa, West Africa, Southern Africa, you need to adjust regional integration.
She added that however much COVID-19 has impacted on the nation, there is steady reopening among many sectors. Uganda has been applauded on several assertions for proper handling of the pandemic on global scale.
In Uganda, we were one of the first country teams in the world to begin to do the socioeconomic analysis to see how were the preventive measures against COVID affecting the most vulnerable. So that was a very important thing that we started doing before everybody else. So that's one of the reasons why this is important. The second reason why this is important is that as a result of COVID, as the United Nations, we did three things. The first one is that we took a decision to stay when people were deciding what to do.
Husna Afet, Ramla Katumba, Select News.
I'll definitely join the UN in applauding Uganda in handling the COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we can see that the numbers are increasing, still we're managing to handle the numbers. See, we only had 108 new cases as of yesterday, and then we have 11,041 accumulative COVID-19 confirmed cases, and the deaths are 98. We have no new deaths. Well, you can see how we're fighting COVID-19. The cumulative recoveries to date are 7,210 with 56 new recoveries, another upload for Uganda, and the total COVID-19 samples tested to date are 529, 236 with 1,886 new samples tested yesterday. Congratulations once again. Well, there we go. We'll go for a break on that note, and we'll be back with more on the stories on Select News. Stay with us.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
You are welcome to the High School Apprentice Season 1, Facing the Future.
I'm Lubega Mahad.
Delisa Morris.
And I'm really excited to join the High School Apprentice, and I'm looking forward to winning it.
Buyajja natugamba nti bajja kujja batukime era nensanyuka nnyo okulaba nti mumujja okumukima.
The next task, it's more of a sports task.
You're in the boardroom. You know what that means. One of you is going home.
Do not speak of 1,000. It is 2,000. Do not speak of 1,000.
We've messed up. We've been selling at a lesser price.
I'll start off with you. I need 2 names from your team of people who did not perform.
We are aiming all to win.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
thank you for staying with us. Moving forward with our stories, the construction of the Kampala-Jinja flyover had stalled due to a conflict over 2-acre piece of land belonging to Sarah Kizito. Now, Nalongo Estates, commonly known as Centenary Park land, had disagreement issues between KCCA and UNRWA, and today these issues have been resolved and the construction will continue. Hasif Sechiwunga has more on that report.
The of Nalongo Estate initially had agreed to surrender 2 hectares of land to the Uganda National Roads Authority for the road construction, but this was misinterpreted by the organizations, which called for a meeting today where this has been resolved after the presidential interaction. She adds that this doesn't come with huge loss since they had already planned for this in the first agreement with the Kampala Capital City Authority. Dorothy Chisaka, the executive director of Kampala Capital City Authority, says that after several engagements with Nalongo Estates, the land had been secured and this will be added to the already secured public space for the flyover project.
We are in charge of this project. We are very grateful for the government of Uganda for coming up with such a great project for the nation. We've had conversations and engagements with the Nalongo Estates who have been taking care of this space, and we have come to an amicable understanding and agreeable way forward that the project, which is a national project, should go ahead.
In the first phase of the construction, it took close to 31 months, and the second phase is expected to take 41 months. And the total project is expected to take over $150 million. Hasif Sechunga, STV Select News.
Well, it's a norm in STV that if it's your birthday, they tell you, we hope you live longer to see the Kampala flyover. Seems like a lot of people are going to actually be able to look at the flyover. Now, looking at the political environment in Uganda, there are certain people, certain key players that are there, and one of them that we'll be talking about tonight is Ruth Nankabirwa. And the question is, do you know who Ruth Nankabirwa is? How long has she served in the August House, and what inspires her political journey? Tonight, we bring you the Chiwoga District Woman MP and Government Chief Whip, who has been in Parliament for 24 years and it still has the kick in her to go for another 5 years. Let's look at that report and we'll be right back.
For almost 26 years, Ruth Nankabirwa has served as a politician and held several top positions in government. Nankabirwa, who is the Chiwoga Woman Member of Parliament, has been in Parliament since 1996 and was part of the Constituency Assembly from 1994 to 1995. Recently, Nankabirwa was nominated yet again to contest in the 2021 parliamentary elections. In a sit-down with STV, Ruth Nankabirwa told us why she still wants to return to Parliament for another 5 years, yet she has served as MP for the last 24 years.
In its service delivery, I am offering the service to the district. And this service did not have a term limit. As long as I still have my voice, I still have my brain, I still have the energy, I feel I should continue serving my district. This is why I'm coming back.
Nankabirwa, who also serves as the government chief whip, says that she still has a lot of work to do in her constituency, and that is the reason she has decided to return.
And secondly, there are programs that I begin, and I feel like I should continue with them. And as I serve, I identified needs, and if I'm able to respond to people's needs, then I think abandoning them will not be the best thing to do.
According to Ruth Nankabirwa, who also sits on the NRM Central Executive Committee, the NRM party has managed to accomplish a lot in the last 5 years, and the work is evident.
Where we are unable to completely implement the manifesto 100%, we carry forward. The issue of industrialization, the issue of value addition, the issue of rural electrification, the issue of irrigation, the issue of good roads, good road network are still issues which we have to do. Much as we have covered quite a lot, but we still have to complete.
And on the NRM party chaos that erupted during the NRM primaries, the minister says that the NRM Central Executive Committee is looking into the matter.
I want to inform you that the Central Executive Committee, which is the topmost organ of the party, held a number of meetings to go through the reports from the field of what happened. And we took a decision as SEC to make sure that we stop impunity. There are colleagues of ours who got involved in violence, who got involved in malpractices, and the Central Executive Committee took a decision to invite them to appear before the disciplinary committee.
Although Ruth Nankabirwa has served in Parliament for over 2 decades and in different ministerial positions, she is still confident that she has more to offer to the people of Chiboga and Uganda as a country. The file was compiled by Suhail Mugabe, Adams Mayambala, STV Select News.
Well, Ruth Nankabirwa had a few bumps and achievements in her career, and we wish her the best in her tenure that she wants to start again. However, in Lugala, the news is not as exciting. Residents of Lugala woke up in shock after the death of a fellow resident in the wee hours of today morning. According to the reports, he was shot dead after a scuffle ensued between the victim and his killers.
Sharif Mbayo's body was discovered in the morning after he was taken away from his workplace where he worked as a security guard.
Bana be bampise ne bangamba mami owulidde amasasi ne mbagamba siwulidde mbadde ntaddeko leediyo nga ndi ku mawulire kati nenkola kinenvaayo nga twetegeka kujja kukola ne tujja misindi nengamba kuba tutuuka ano saa 12 era bwe tutuusa ano tugenze okulaba abantu nti wano waliwo omuntu gwe bakoze eki gwe battiddewo.
According to residents, the deceased was killed by police, which they condemn for frequent brutality.
So mbadde ndi eyo ku makya ne mpulira nti mbaye bamusse ne ngamba omusajja atalina mmundu atali mubbi lwaki bamukubisizza amasasi.
Naye nga abadde akuma ku galaji naye nga tubadde tumwesiga nnyo naye kati waki tebajja ate nga poliisi yeemusse kubaga amasasi si muntu mulala era baiba poliisi.
Upon receiving the news of her husband's death, the widow Jackie Nakawesa arrived at the scene breaking into tears. The remaining to the deceased were taken to Mulago for further investigation. The police has started investigation on what could have led to his death. The police, through the spokesperson Kampala Metropolitan Patrick Onyango, has confirmed the death of Mbayo.
Abadde abalemesa anti tebamukwata tebamutwala ate n'agezako okubajjako mundu. Bino biddiridde anti waliwo omukyala jo be bamurepinze eyo be bamurepinze saidi za Lugala. Ono mukyala nagenda nayingiza omusango nanyonyola abasirikale ekibaddewo yemugamba nti munange fe basirikale ate tokola byogezako okukola ye yagenda mu maaso n'okubalwanyisa awo omusirikale omu n'amukuba amasasi n'afa.
He lived by 3 children and a wife, burial to be held in Mali. Maria Dana Namiro, STV Select News.
Very sad story indeed. It raises the question of what I would call the misuse of guns in the hands of both civilians and security forces. Well, Well, we'll take a break on that sad note and we'll be back with more on Select News.
Hey guys, you're watching STV, Select for Fun.
A small girl child can be a daughter, a sister, a mother, or a wife. That means at the end of the day, every girl child matters a lot in the society. Here is the show that brings back hope, courage, determination to the girls out there. Like Joe Crow says, it rains harder on people who need the sun more. So to every girl that is going to be watching this show, say no to the rain and welcome the sun in your life.
Hey guys, you're watching STV, Select for Fun.
Now in our business world today, government has obtained a 32 billion Ugandan shillings loan to construct a 7-kilometer power submarine cable connecting Kalangala district to the mainland at Masaka.
The shillings 32 billion loan has been secured from African Development Bank to construct the first power submarine cable and connect it to the national grid. The power cable that is to run under the waters of Lake Victoria is expected to be completed in 1 year, according to contractors of CCC Beijing Industrial and Commercial Company Limited. According to State Minister for Energy and Minerals Development Mary Goretich Tutu, the project is intended to lower tariffs charged for power in Kalangala. Kalangala Infrastructure Services Limited, the company responsible for supplying power on Bugala Island, is charging over 825 shillings per unit of used power. The minister says this is over twice the charge paid elsewhere in the country, so the cable will help lower the cost of doing business on the islands, economically empower the residents of Kalangala and boost its tourism sector. Shamira Nagawa, STV Select News.
On a more exciting note, the Ugandan Golden Athletics team that was third in the General World Half Marathon race in Poland returned home finally. In a ceremony organized by the National Council of Sports, they were welcomed and congratulated upon lifting Uganda's flag up high. They promised more medals and more wins.
The Uganda national athletics team has been officially welcomed back from their golden triumph at the World Half Marathon race in Gdynia, Poland. In a ceremony hosted and organized by the governing sports body National Council of Sports, the athletes were welcomed in full capacity and Captain Joshua Cheptegei handed back the national flag.
Accompanied by the assistant captain, are stepping forward to hand over the flag to you. That's an indication that they really accomplished the mission for which you flagged.
The guest of honor, Assistant Inspector General of Police Andrew Solowen, congratulated the athletes on the job well done in representing the country. He also urged them not to use and indulge in use of drugs for sports which kill their talent and tarnish the country's good image.
Those who did not win, did not despair. You are still young, you still have time. Remain focused. Once you remain focused, you will get it. You will get what you desire to get. that wherever you are, be careful whatever you're eating. Who is giving you something to eat to taste? So say no, thank you to somebody volunteering a meal to you or something to taste.
The national team captain and leader Joshua Cheptegei urged Ugandans to always support and believe in them because they have confidence in winning.
I said it last time when we had a press conference on arrival on Monday that we are always showing, we have been always showing and developing the country. It's not just a one-time thing that we have been doing. We did in Arrows, we won a 1-2 and of course a team goal. And it was not going to be a surprise that Uganda was going to win this time. So I want to ask Ugandans to have belief in us and also the Federation and the...
He also said that with full government support and facilitation, medals will keep on coming. He also congratulated his young comrade Jacob Kiplimo upon his success and said the sky is the limit for him. He also wished the country well ahead of polls next year. It should be noted that Uganda is among the top 3 long-distance running countries of the world, led by Joshua Cheptegei and Jacob Kiplimo.
That we do whatever it takes for us to prepare ourselves in the best way. With the support of the government and the Federation, the National Council, we believe that with your support and with our own commitment and this teamwork, we will make sure that the titles come out together. So, thank you so much. I don't want to make a lot of remarks. I just wish you all nice liberation. I wish our country long-lasting peace as we head to 2021 polls.
The winning coach Benjamin Ingia had full praises for the athletes, especially the ladies team led by Captain Juliet Chekwel.
I say that in the ladies category, I'm very much happy and proud that the ladies did their best. Juliet broke her own national record. Then the ladies ran their personal best times, which was a very, very impressive results from the ladies side. In the men's category, we had Moses Kibet, Moses 63.
The report was compiled by Saika Yasin Sekalala for STV Select Sports News.
Welcome back, our heroes, and welcome back to Uganda. We are happy you're back safe and sound, and we hope that you keep carrying the Ugandan flag high. Now, moving out of Uganda, Arsenal Football Club kickstart their Europa League title chase with a visit to Rapid Vienna in Austria. New signing Thomas Partey is expected to make his first Arsenal appearance.
Arsenal, the Gunners, kick off their Europa League title search with a visit to Austrian club Rapid Vienna. The Gunners traveled to the suburban Austrian city of Vienna after a team training in London. New signing Ghanaian Thomas Partey is expected to start in midfield with Dani Ceballos, while William Nicholas' new signing Ghanaian Thomas Partey is expected to start in midfield with Dani Ceballos, while William Nicholas Pepe and the captain Aubameyang will lead the attack to hunt for the goals away from home. Arteta's Arsenal is expected to bounce back from a weekend defeat in the English Premier League against Manchester City. Spurs are also at home hosting Lask of Austria. Sevilla are the defending champions of the Europa League, who beat Inter Milan 3-2 in the finals 2 months ago. Reporting for STV, Saika Yasin Sekalala.
There you go. That brings us to the end of our bulletin this evening. Thank you for being such an amazing crowd. And until tomorrow, my name is Latifa Hamid. Take care of yourself. And remember, COVID-19 is real.
Hey guys, you're watching STV Select for Fun.